Okay, you can see that Super Heart Ninjas is a simple, easy to understand, but hard to master game where you collect golden hearts and go to a finish point. And this is good, I'm doing the right thing by keeping the scope small, especially for my first commercial game. The scope being a simple game with just one grappling hook mechanic. So I added another mechanic to my game, platforming. But why platforming? 2D platformers are one of my favorite genres in games, so I thought it would be fun to make one. I also wanted to recapture the feeling that you get when you play Donkey Kong, Super Mario, and Sonic. Besides, platformers are the easiest things to make. I can get a player up and running and jumping in an hour at least. It took me 2 days to create a player character that can move left, right, that can jump, and that can also wall jump. I know what you're thinking, how did this happen? So sit down, relax, get your popcorn ready, and enjoy your popcorn, and prepare to get disappointed. Because let's face it, you're gonna learn jack shit in this devlog. Creating the player sprite is important because you need to be able to see what you're doing and what the player is doing on screen. So I did the most productive thing ever. I simply copied and pasted this heart and changed it to the color red to see it clearly on the screen. And also because I like the color red too. If you don't have any artwork, a simple box or circle would do. Programmer art is good enough at this stage. Remember, we want to nail down the controls first before we delve into making the art work better. Typically, in most engines, movement is controlled either by moving the transform of the player, which is the position of the player, or by moving the player's rigid body by exerting a force on the player in code. I use the player's rigid body because it produces more responsive movement and it works better in the game engine that I'm using, which is Duality 2D. Now let's see how responsive it is. That is so responsive, I'm not even pressing any buttons. Okay, turns out I set the rigid body of the player as kinematic instead of dynamic. Okay, if I change it back, this should work. So I need to do more coding. What I needed to do is reduce the horizontal velocity gradually once I let go of either the left or the right key. It's a bit hard to see here, but this gives the impression that the player is slowing down, a bit like how a car would grind to a halt after seeing a stop sign. This makes the movement a bit more fluid. Fluidity is important in a platformer. The main reason why Sonic is such a fun game to play is because of the momentum that you gain once you've reached a certain speed threshold. This is what I mean by fluidity, and I wanted to incorporate this in my game. So I created a max speed variable which represents the maximum speed, and I made it so that as long as you hold one of the directional buttons, the speed or velocity will increase till it reaches the max speed value. Jumping is straightforward. You press spacebar, then what the... I just realized that the player is bouncy and I don't want bouncy. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great things in life that are bouncy. I encourage you to close your eyes and think of something bouncy and write it down in the comments below. And don't forget to press the thumbs up button if you like the video and turn the red subscribe button into a grey subscribed button. So I realized the player's rigid body has a restitution value. Restitution is bouncy. So 0 bounce equals 0 restitution, and after a little tweaking, Bob's your step uncle. We have a player that can jump normally without any bounce, kinda like your mother. Rigid body shape is important. What is a rigid body? The way I describe it is the physical space that is taken up by something. In this case, it would be a player in the world. The rigid body shape ensures that movement is smooth. In almost all cases, it's a good idea for the rigid body to be either a perfect square or a perfect rectangle. A good thing about having a rectangle as a shape is that there are clear collision points. This is considered good platform game design. However, if you want to frustrate the shit out of your players, this is bad design. Wall jumping is so much fun and it has to be in this game. To understand how I coded the wall jump, let's deconstruct the mechanic. Firstly, you press the spacebar and the player jumps. Secondly, whilst the player is in mid-air, it makes contact with the wall either on the player's left hand side or the right hand side. Thirdly, you press the jump button again and the player jumps diagonally in a direction away from the wall that it made contact with. So from the second point, it's clear that we need some sort of way to check whether we're in mid-air or not. This is all done by our friend Recti. You can see when Recti is on the floor, he's making contact with a ground. And using some fancy code in Duality, we can extract information of the point of contact made with the Recti to the ground. This is a normal, which is a line or direction perpendicular to a plane. Now, if you still don't know what a normal is, then I don't blame you. I suck at teaching maths. However, the good news is that we have some collision information when the player is grounded. And now we can use the normals on the side of the rigid body to determine if the player is made contact with the walls so that we can wall jump. There is a bug where I can wall jump indefinitely on the same wall as if I'm climbing up the wall. I'm not sure if I'll keep this as a feature of the game, but I'll decide on this in the future. The introduction of platforming gives this game a new identity. I want to make a precision platformer with at least 5 to 6 concurrent mechanics. By concurrent I mean that all the abilities are not interchangeable. You don't have to go to settings screen to manually change it. The abilities will be available to you on your keyboard or controller once you've unlocked them. And that does include the grappling hook mechanic, which was the sole feature of this game up until this point. I plan to upload a demo soon on itch.io and hopefully it will be less than 8 months. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. That just simply means that you're awesome. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification icon and follow me on my socials. And also leave a like. Also check out my other videos. Looking forward to see you soon.